These are the three treasures for any good devotee or any aspiring devotee. And why it is a very exciting thing, because in this service nobody is a loser. Because Shukdev Goswami, when he was mentioning, and if we are told like, okay, you are about to leave your body even on this particular time, there are some astrologers who can tell you that, but the minute it is told to us, it is said that actually, if you are to know everything in advance, then we'll never be actually happy, we'll never be peaceful. Because if somebody just tells us that no, this calamity is about to happen or it is happening, suddenly we become so anxious that we can't think of anything. And that's Krishna's mercy, that forgetfulness also comes from Krishna. So here, Parshit Maharaj, who was told, who was cursed to die within 7 days, and he was such an advanced devotee that he understood now, I must find what is the most important thing for me. And why we say Parikshit Maharaj is fortunate, because when he was about to be born, and when Ashwatthama had thrown Brahmastra, a very advanced weapon to kill, that time Krishna had personally protected him. And he had always that remembrance that when he was still in the womb of his mother Uttara, he remembered that some very bright, effulgent personality had come and saved him. So that was his memory, and he was such a advanced devotee that he remembered. So he understood that now the time has come and I have to do only the most important thing. So he went, and Sri Shukdev Goswami, this is the context taken from there, was very happy that he can now remember Krishna and talk about knowledge of Krishna to Parikshit Maharaj, who himself is an advanced devotee. And there were many other saints who were sitting there, and all of them were very happy. And for 7 days and 7 nights, he did not take any water or any food, because he knew that now his time is, he has to utilize in the best possible manner. So this was the time, and that's why it is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam introduction that the speaker, like I am the person who might be questioning me, and all those who are not even questioning, all become purified. So there is no loss in Krishna consciousness or devotional life. Uh, Actually, there's an admission. Last Sunday, I was about to speak, but then suddenly I fell sick. Then I realized that what are the other things that are going to happen. So these are things that happen. So I'll be talking about devotees, and there is a logic behind everything, so which we'll be understanding later on. So Sri Narottam Das Thakur, he was who took birth around, I think, 1466 or something, on this day, and we are talking about Hindu calendar or lunar calendar. So this year that day fell on February 5th. So he was a very good brahmachari, and he had done lots of pilgrimage. There you will find many devotees who have not been fortunate enough to do much pilgrimage. Even though I am coming from India, and I have been, I'm originally from Badrinath side, but I have not been fortunate enough to go to even my own place. But Narottam Das Thakur was one such blessed soul. So the specialty about him is that he was such a noble person. His father was a landlord, or you could say jamidar in Indian context, and he had no dearth of anything. But at the age of 12 years, suddenly he got a dream in which Lord Balaram came to his dream and told him, "Why don't you take bath in Padma River?" And it is said that he was darker in complexion, but the minute he went into the river and came out, his complexion had changed to golden color. Even his own mother could not recognize him. And I was reading in one of the scriptures that it was many, many years back, even before he was born, uh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy, and he was talking to Padma River that soon he was taking the name Narottam, Narottam, and then Nityananda Prabhu was along with him, and then he asked him, "Why are you taking this name? we don't even know he's this person. So this pastime, it is mentioned that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, actually the thing is that Nityanand, you don't know your own glories, and Nityanand Prabhu is perfection of devotional life. So he said that the love which was in your eyes in the form of tears, I took that love for Krishna from those tears and I deposited in Padma River. And though it sounds very strange, because I was reading this and then this sounds very strange, but then Padma River asked, "Oh Lord, but how will I know that who is this Narottam?" So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Okay, you will understand. The minute he touches your water will start flooding out of excitement and happiness." So this is just a pastime. But Srila Prabhupada said that when he would sing, his prayers were not from this planet. They were just coming, they were not even material platform, they were coming to spiritual platform. And we have noticed that even a newborn baby, when you talk about devotional aims, baby does not know all the scriptures and all those things, but suddenly there's an excitement, there's some smile, that happiness that comes. Even when we realize that we have received mercy of the Lord Krishna, and suddenly we find that excitement coming from within. It's something which has to be experienced, and this is what Srila Prabhupada said, that when Narottam Prabhu sings his prayer songs, you feel that happiness coming within your heart. So he had written two books, Prarthana and Prem Bhakti Chandrika, or The Moonlight of Love and Devotion. So these are the collection of his songs, and these were the major works. And some of you might actually remember some of these songs are sung in temple. And those of you who are fortunate enough to go to yatras, you realize that in yatras we get more time. We are not talking about, okay, now the morning aarti is done. Now you have to do this. In the yatras, mood is to serve Krishna, and then you are searching the holy places along with the guru. And so that is the time where we get lots of time. So these are many of the songs are played there also. So these are some of the songs. I'm not here to bombard you with these names and all those things, but I'm just telling you what is the magnitude of songs or works he has produced. Some of them you will be familiar to you also. And there is one of his famous song in which he says like Hari Hari Bifale Janam Gonainu Manusya Janam Paya Radha Krishna Bhajiya Janiya Shunya Vishkainu. This particular song lines are quoted by Srila Prabhupada in many places in many lectures. This is from one of those lectures. What it means, like basically this is jnana or this is a realization. Oh my Lord, I get this very opportune moment to possess this human life form of life. Manushya Janma Paya, but my duty was to worship Radha Krishna. Now, it is the perfection of human life and devotional life. If even before, just before when we are about to die and we are just going to lose our consciousness and leave this body, if we can think about Krishna at that time, that is the perfection of life. And this is the realization where he's singing that generally when all these songs come, they are not mundane songs. They are the heart feelings and emotions which they have felt very deeply. These are the realizations which are crystallizing in the form of songs by great Vaishnavas, which which fortunate people were able to capture and reproduce so that we could benefit from their realizations. The tapasya or the focus which they had on their devotional life, the knowledge which they extracted from that knowledge, devotional life, the sum and substance of their experience, they are captured in these songs. Another great devotee you might be knowing, and this is I'll just explain some of these things what he has done. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Many of you are already aware that he was Srila Prabhupada's teacher or he was guru, and he was son of another great devotee called Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And Srila Prabhupada just simply said that, okay, he did not even say that he was devotee also. He said he's straight up from Vaikunt. Like he's not even coming from material platform. He's straight away coming from spiritual platform. That's what Srila Prabhupada said about his guru. And who Srila Prabhupada, who gave us this opportunity to be here today. And Those of you are interested, you'll see some of the books are here and outside the books, and even the temple, everything is coming from his efforts. So he was given some time, he was blessed by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So he is telling about his Guru Maharaj. So he was multi-dimensional person. So I'm just trying to capture some of his dimensions. Foolish approach, but this is all I can capture. So he has published. He was a great publisher and a very good preacher. And those of you might be knowing, he was very good astrologer also. So he had written many shastras, published many shastras. So one of these, many of these books which you are saying, they are sourced from his knowledge only. And he was the one who had mentioned that even foreigners would be, and that mind you, that time Shilpa was not even born. That time he had predicted that even foreigners would be singing these songs, and they will be noticing about Chaitanya Charitamrita. And he is the one person, if we are to approach in a manner to preach to world, he was the one who had introduced all the innovations, how to expand preaching. His dream was that every house, every person would be talking the glories of the Lord. So he was the one you talk about now, promotional events and all those things. He was doing it at that time. And dioramas, those of you are aware that you are having images and then dolls and pictures, and you are trying to capture a theme. It's not a painting which you see out here, but it's a sort of sculpting that's done, or it's like a 3D painting, we could say, where you see images and objects, but we are talking about themes. So he was talking about the pastimes of Sri Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's not different from Sri Krishna only in this time. This was born, appeared around 500 years back. And he was, since he was highly qualified, so he was even making animated dolls. The thing which, at least I don't know how to make animated dolls, but he would be doing all those things. And he had even this marble impressions, he had put in many places. And one of the biggest thing what was supposed to taboo, because those of you who have lived in India and know about Indian culture and Vedic culture, you realize that I'm from Badrinath, but as per original traditional culture, I should not be even living anywhere outside Badrinath. And if I do leave, then that means I'm so unfortunate that I have left my place. Forget about I'll be, of course, boycotted or ostracized by everybody else from my community, but nobody can go. So if you realize, they had some basis why a person should not go, because they think that the person would get contaminated. But here we are talking about Bhaktivedanta Saraswati, who was a true Vaishnava. And a true Vaishnava has received mercy of Krishna, and he is empowered to share that mercy. So if I have received that mercy and I remain selfishly in my own town or my own village, so then that is not the objective of Krishna consciousness. So he broke that tradition. So you can imagine that if I'm not even willing to leave my village, and at that time, of course, if I'm not leaving village, I'm not leaving any of my traditions. And that time, we are talking early 1900s. That time, he encouraged sannyasis. Sannyasis are supposed to be total renunciates. They are not supposed to have attachment for anything. He told them that you wear kurtas and overcoats and use this materialistic things in Krishna consciousness, and use all the material facilities that are given to you. And but please spread this message of Krishna consciousness worldwide. That was his so advanced thought process, you can imagine. And he was basically demonstrating for us yukta vairagya. Now, many of us are thinking that vairagya or sannyas or renunciation is a concept. The thing when I talk about sannyasi, it comes to a person who leaves everything and goes to the hills of Himalayas, mountains of Himalayas. Incidentally, Himalayan range starts where the tallest peak or Mount Alps of Europe also is not even in the beginning of that. Himalayas are such big. So basically, sannyasis are supposed to go back towards the end of their life to Himalayas and do meditation of God, Krishna. But here, That's not the right understanding. Right understanding, which mentioned by Sri Goswami, is that whatever you are totally renounced. Even if I am talking out here, so Sri Goswami had this thought process that though I'm sitting here, I'm talking wearing Western outfit and using technology, but I should be totally focused only on Krishna consciousness, and that is what is called Yukta Vairagya. If anything, everything you are doing, and that's Krishna's message also that whatever you are doing, just focus on Krishna, and you don't have to whatever you are doing. If you are just surrendering all the fruits of your activities to Krishna, that's perfection of life. So basically, Srila Prabhupada's Gurudev, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, definitely understood how to use illusionary energy or Maya in the service of Lord Krishna. And some of his works, which he himself did, are mentioned here. I'm not going to read it out because then there is nothing useful if I have to repeat the same thing. But you can see the dimension. Right from 1886, he has been working. And these are all extensive works. It's not something ordinary. If you were to ask me, okay, write a story, I'll not be able to do that. Compose a song, I'll not be able to do that. But he was a prolific writer, publisher, and preacher, and he was a multi-dimensional person. So these are some of the works which he had himself done. But then about when you talk about mundane knowledge, but the idea is that whatever you have, whatever knowledge you are having is given by Krishna, and our perfection of life is to apply that knowledge in the serving of Krishna. So these are the works which he had done. And you can see that even in such field, he was a prolific writer. And if you ask, you might have met many of the astrologers or palmists. Even they write one or two books, they think they are great. But he did so many things, and he was not attached to any of these works. He could have been successful in any of the fields, but he was not doing that. And then he published many commentaries which were done. You can see those also. And many of us, these books you will find they are available within our temple also. But you can imagine what sort of personality we are talking about. I thought that I'll take some liberty of mentioning everything out here. Idea is not to bombard you, but just to say that what sort of person we are talking about. That he gave knowledge to Srila Prabhupada in a very short manner, and Srila Prabhupada also was a very strict thinker, and he was no nonsensical person, to put it very simply. And he was not a person who could be swayed by just anybody. When his friend said, "Okay, let's go there, let's meet the sannyasi," he said, and he was very cynical. He said, "Oh, there are many sannyasis." But when he went and saw, then first time when he listened to him, and he was told that you are, what's your name? He said, Abhay. So he said, Abhay, why don't you just go and preach in Western world? You are shocked, like he doesn't even know me and he's talking to me like this. So even Srila Prabhupada was very skeptical when he met him for the first time. But you can see what sort of background this person was having and what sort of command, what sort of devotional life he was having. And these are some of the things which he has not been published. These are unpublished works. And these were the books which he either wrote, his father had written, and he either written or edited, and these also he published. And when we talk about publishing, I'm coming from publishing industry, and if somebody says, okay, this is some work, you just publish it. It's not that easy. First of all, we have to read it, to clarify it, understand what the writer wants to communicate, and then look at the language, polish it. If the need, we change the wordings altogether, and then convert it into software, and then you have to publish it. And so he was doing all this, and we are talking about 1900s. So he was doing all this work, and this is not all. He was doing many other things, and he was not only publishing only of his own work, his father's work, but other celebrities who are great devotees themselves. The previous literatures which were available, so he was publishing all that. So you can imagine what was the surprise of Srila Prabhupada when he was in America. He was preaching, and somebody said, "Oh, I found this book by some devotee, Bhakti Saraswati Thakur," and then he was shocked. He said, "Okay, my guru's book have already reached here," and that time many people are not even aware. So you can imagine what was his personality. Besides this, he had written more than 200 articles in Sajjan Toshni and Gaudi. These are the publications which are coming. And since he was not into astrology, you can check this on this Sri Navvi Panjika. Even now, you can get these calendars and all those things. You have to give in search, and you can get this calendars. So he was so mathematically advanced. And since he knew so much about solar systems and all things, those who are interested, you can go deeper. He could predict what things need to be done and how they should done to get certain results. You might know that some of the devotees are actually into astrology and all those things. So even his work out there was outstanding. And this was the thing which I realized only a day before when I was working on this. That not only this, he has written some songs also, which I could manage to get some of them here. So now, coming to this, why you might be wondering why I was talking about these devotees in such an extent. Any guesses why I was talking about them? Just because it was their birthdays or disappearance day? Is there any other reason why I was talking about this? Would somebody like to say something on this? Yes, Mataji?
It's really important to know their lives, and it's very purifying to speak about like him or devotees in his.
Why? Just because
It's very
Shastra said that.
purifying for us to know about them. I think that's really nice. And also because we are attached to people and stories, so it's nice to know about wonderful devotees, our own purification and interest.
As Mataji rightly pointed out, for our own purification and interest, uh, all of us are trying to advance in consciousness. So, whenever we are talking about somebody's great achievements, now they are not here listening to us in physical form, but when we are talking like this, whatever we do, Paramatma within our heart sits in our heart, sits in our hearts. When Krishna sees, okay, this person is appreciating what other devotees have done, Krishna gets pleased. So that helps us in advancing in our own spiritual consciousness. And we are talking about other advanced devotees. So you might have heard this song. If you are coming here early in the mornings in the prayers, there's a song like Shri Guru Charana Padma Keval Bhakti Sarma. You realize that devotees are singing in the morning. So my Gurudev, Shri Dirkir Goswami Das Maharaj, he mentioned in one of his lectures, and that time I understood because many times we learn something. First of all, when we hear something for the first time, it appears very foreign to us. But after a few repetitions, we start understanding, we start memorizing, and we are able to sing. But then this can be done by any wonderful parrot also. So what is the difference between human beings and parrots? Are we able to just parrot what we have listened, or we try to understand what is behind that? So when we are talking about Guru Vandana, there are two dimensions to it. First of all, of course, you know that Narottam Das Thakur was a great devotee. But what is this song about? What is he talking about? And what is the significance of that? This is a person who has composed all this based on his realizations. And when we are singing this song, what is the exact meaning? Unless we are aware of that, we will not be able to appreciate. If I say, why don't you sing this song in the mornings? You sing, "Yeah, okay, good. As I was singing, I want to look good, so I'll do this." But if you understand what is the meaning of this, that is the time we start realizing what it means. Here, Narottam Das Thakur is expressing his gratitude for his guru. who has given this opportunity so that he could advance in spiritual life. And he is actually mentioning, now some of us do tend to get cynical, but it is said that whatever is in our heart actually happens to us. You might find that there are some gurus, there are some bogus gurus. You'll find there are many Babajis and many Ammajis out here, and many people are following them. But sooner or later, there comes time where some literature is coming out, and then you realize, okay, this person was actually pretending to be a devotee, was not. So, but then we realize that, okay, I was behaving like this. Why did I get cheated like this? I was sincere. But the thing is that Krishna knows what is in our heart. So if Krishna sees that we are sincere, then he sends us a sincere guru. But if you know that we have material propensity to enjoy and maybe to cheat others, so then Krishna sends the guru also like that. But here we are talking about genuine guru, and that's why this prayer becomes very important. So we are talking about genuine guru and those who are actually, because guru, being a guru is not an easy task. The minute a person takes an initiation by a guru, then more than disciple, it is guru's responsibility. Who is a guru who has already accepted that I'll be taking this person's mistakes and sins. 50% of that will come to me. So basically, if a guru is accepting a disciple, guru is accepting disciple with all the material contamination which affects gurus. So you find that many times some sannyasi or some senior guru are falling very sick. Partly it is because of our sins which they have taken responsibility. And if we are not following the path of Vedic culture and what are our guru's teachings, so our guru, besides our physical affection, it's our guru who is also getting the karmic reaction. So we have to be very careful about that. Another, this is a song which he has sung for Krishna only. And you realize that they are in Bengali, and these are also very famous song. Here he is talking and he's praising the Lord Krishna. And what is he trying to tell us? He's saying that, oh Lord Chaitanya, because why he's not talking to Krishna? Why he's talking to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Because please understand one thing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord Krishna himself in the mood of Radharani. And in previous life, as Krishna, he was wondering why people are so attracted to me and why Srimati Radharani loves me so much. So he took next birth. There were two reasons. One of the reasons was, of course, to teach us about devotional life, but at the same time, the rule, the love of Krishna in the mode of separation, and what is should be the consciousness of the right ideal devotee. So to that guru, to that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this song is dedicated. And despite of his advancement, one of the key identification feature of great devotees are that they don't think that they have achieved anything. They still have that feeling that we have not achieved anything. So in that mood, he has written this song, and that's the reason we sing these songs, because these are the realizations which are given by Krishna himself to devotees, and those are the realizations which are coming in these songs. And this was a song which was quoted maximum time by Srila Prabhupada in his lectures. And you can see that as a devotee, we should be always anxious to focus only in serving the lotus feet of Krishna and his devotees. So that is what he meant in this song. Now, these are songs which I picked up from Bhakti San Saraswati, and these songs you might not have heard, they were in Bengali, but here he's categorizing or he's defining who are the people who are never fit to render devotional life. Basically, those who are interested in acquiring, and those who are trying to exploit others or mundane objects. Like this is a pen, I can write in service of Krishna, but I can also write for my sense gratification. Or third type are those people who speak everything but don't speak about Krishna. Or those people who are exploiting others. You'll find that there are many people around us who are just manipulating things for their ends. And there are many people who are associating with everybody else, but associating with devotee is a difficult thing for them. And others who are just traveling here and there, okay, where did you go? I went to this country, I was in this place, I was enjoying this place, and they die. Like you might know that few years back there was a tsunami in Thailand side, and then many people died. Was that auspicious way to die? You're dying, and it is said that when a person dies of drowning, their consciousness is very bad, and especially if you're in some mundane trip and sense enjoyment, and that time you die, it's even worse. So these are type of six people which Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentioned. They are not ever, never ever going to become good devotees. But then, luckily, he had written another song which he mentioned what are the six qualities for pure devotion. Like devotee is always enthusiastic in serving Krishna and devotees, and the person who has faith, firm faith. It's not that okay today everything's fine, so I'm a good devotee, but suddenly I have my backache, something happened to my relatives, something happened to my business, or something happened to my friends, and suddenly I'm shaky and weary. And person who's patient, he keeps on practicing. Okay, why can't I chant? So many years I've been chanting, but still I can't focus. I'm talking, but I'm still getting distracted by the sounds of my mobile phone. Okay, some message come. But if the person is continuously focused, that's a good quality. And those who serve Lord Krishna for Krishna's pleasure. It's not that I'm serving Krishna. Okay, I have my exams results coming. Like typical is way of looking at Indian students. Okay, oh God, my results are coming. Please take care of me. If you don't take care of your own devotees, who will take care? That's no, we are not talking about that type of devotion. But the very mundane movie, but this person, he was telling heroine that okay, so you are also coming to temple. So is there something wrong? No, no. He says okay, if you have come to temple, why do people come to temple? Generally, they are asking for something. Oh God, give me this. If God give me that, and all those things. And if God is not giving, would they still be coming? If they had everything, would they still be coming to temple? Because people are selfish. And he says even you are selfish. That's why you have come to temple, isn't it? He says, what do you mean? Has anybody come to the temple and asked, oh God, how are you today? How are you feeling today? Please take care of yourself. No, no, you do something for me. So that was a mundane movie, but that struck me. And this is exactly what point is conveyed here. Of course, that person must have copied this dialogue from here only. That if we are trying to serve Krishna for Krishna's pleasure, that is the perfection of life. This is the type of service which gopis used to do. And that's why gopis are supposed to be the most advanced devotees. And then many a time, this saying, the saying in Hindi, like if you go to if you go to a room like एक काजल के कोठरी में जाएंगे तो कालिख तो लगेगी ही. Like if you go in a room which is full of soot or this black coal thing, if you are going there with white clothes, you are bound to get some pain. So if you are associating with people who are having materialistic tendencies, you are bound to get tainted unless you are given that role, like Shilpa is given that role by Krishna. Chances are you will be getting tainted. So the best thing is that well, we don't know. I don't know whether I'm a good devotee or not. But best to avoid non-devotees. And what are pure devotees' path? What the path given to us by our parampara? Trying to follow that in our lives and treating it very urgently. These are the qualities of good devotees. That's what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is mentioning. So this is some of the things. Now here I would like some feedback from you. So what do we learn from them and what are their common points? Anybody who would like to say something?
They focus on nothing and how like
that was the common point, and how we can please Krishna. So that's why the songs they have created to like always being conscious to serve Krishna.
Very good. Anybody else?
You said non-devotee, you should not be with non-devotees, but Krishna is in everyone. So if I'm with my friend, he's Arab, he's like my brother, I will be with him because I know Krishna is in him, and I will do everything that will turn into Krishna consciousness.
Very good point. I would say, are you married?
No, I'm not married. I'm a kid.
Okay, so when you get married, okay, because I'm not like to go on the front generation, but the thing is that you rightly said, basically what you are saying, they are saying Krishna, that means you are an advanced devotee yourself.
I don't know about that, but I know that Krishna is in everyone. Every living thing, Krishna.
So that is the perfection of life in any case. But the thing is that, would you do something to help your friend,
To become Krishna conscious.
to help his advance in his own spiritual life? He did not
Of
follow.
course, but if he does something like drinks alcohol and tells me, hey, drink, or does that, I say no, and then I say, you will not smoke with me because I love you.
Yeah,
That's real.
that's exactly the point. So that's what is the advanced sign of a devotee. That's where I'm saying you're advanced devotee, because you see that okay, my friend may not leave all these things right now
Yes.
because he's attracted to these things. So, but you will try to create opportunities by which he's getting attracted to better things so that he leaves these things.
Yes, yes.
Let's say he's taking cocaine, a drug. Okay, now for example,
Okay.
or he's
Bad
taking.
example, but okay.
Oh, this is the precise
Yeah.
example. Because this is what is being circulated in schools in Finland. That was the latest report I read just last week. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Let's be very contextual. I'm not talking about scriptures only, I'm talking about what's happening present.
Yes.
So if he's taking that, for example,
Yes.
so as a good friend, it's your responsibility to not, first of all, to take him away from the situation
Of
so that
course.
he should not be getting into that.
I'm a
And-
human also. That's wrong to do drugs. That's like basic common sense.
Yeah, but if you're taking even tea or coffee,
Yes.
or if you're taking olive or beer,
Yes.
I can tell you that it contains vitamin B, but the point out here is that if you take beer, it's again alcohol.
Yes.
Anything that distracts your consciousness or clear focus, it is a distraction. Basically, it is taking your focus away. So anything that's taking, so basically, right from cocaine to any of these even small things like tea or with mild caffeine, you should try to wheel away your friend from that.
Of course.
That's exactly what I mean.
Yes, yes.
So when you see Krishna in him, you have to make sure that Krishna's temple or his body is Krishna's temple. So that temple has to be clean.
So I just wanted to say that Krishna is everywhere.
That's what I'm saying, but not only saying is not good enough.
Do
You have
it,
to
of
help him
course.
advance further.
Of course.
That's
you have
what,
to do it to be Krishna.
precisely.
Yes.
But your friend, you said, is Arab, so he was following Quran.
Yes.
And so Allah is not different from Krishna. So you don't have to use, if you start talking about
No,
Krishna,
Krishna is one only.
yeah,
You can call whatever, Krishna is always one.
yeah. What is the meaning of Krishna? Do you know that?
It's Krishna, it's the Supreme Personal Godhead.
It sounds very good, but it again sounds without realization. Krishna
What?
means all attractive in Sanskrit.
Okay, but
So
for me,
Allah is-
Krishna is like
Yeah.
Krishna.
Yeah, but if you tell this your friend, if you say Allah, he says no, Allah is bigger. So basically you tell him Allah is all attractive, that's why you talk Allah, and I say Krishna. You speak your Arabic language, I speak in Finnish language. If you are
I
Finnish.
speak in Hindi, Punjabi.
Because you are Punjabi.
Of course.
So that's exactly the point. So what you think in Punjabi, he thinks in Arabic. But the words also for God also become different. So that's what it's all about. So how you save your friend, that is your task. But at the same time, you have to speak in his language. Because I start speaking in Hindi, many people will not understand. So if you speak to him, what is of his interest, you are helping him advance. That's what.
I have also one thing. I know people, devotees, they call themselves devotees. Then I know people who I know, but they're not Krishna consciousness. But I see their hearts much more pure than people who call themselves devotees.
That's exactly our mission in preaching. We have to find those pure-hearted people and help them in any whatever way we can. It could be giving prasadam, it could be helping them, guiding them, wherever, whatever way, whatever position we are. And that is what preacher is all about. It's not about quoting and sitting here and giving lectures. That's not teacher is all about, a preacher.
But
So, so it is said, as he was just giving example about his Arabic friend, and he said that he is having his own weaknesses. Most of us have, but he's been honest enough to talk about his friend because generally we try to hide
It's
the
not
weakness
my
of our friend.
weakness. It's one of my strengths.
No, the friend.
But yeah,
Yeah, I'm talking about. You see, basically, we like to be known by our friends, and if a friend has some weakness, we try to hide it. But he is honest enough to say that his friend has a weaknesses, and that is exactly why we are saying this. Basically, when a great person does something, that is the example that is followed by common masses, and that's what exactly is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. So whatever we are learning, we follow in our lives, and we try to share this because if we are compassionate enough, we'll try to share it with others, keeping their sensitivities in mind. Because if you said you follow this, and if you don't follow, you are fallen soul. It happens in India many places, but that's not the right way of preaching. What is best thing? What is their level of understanding? How we can best help them? That is what is all about devotional service. Now, most of us we realize that one person, he was such a advanced devotee. He was composing so many songs and bhajans, and other person was like a prolific writer, publisher, teacher, astrologer, and devotee, everything combined. So, what is our question? What can we do? So for this, Krishna himself mentions that you can do something with love and devotion. It could be as simple as a leaf, flower, fruit, or water. I'll accept it. Basically, what Krishna wants is whatever we are giving out of sheer love. That's more important rather than I'm supposed to give and I'm doing this. That's not the way Krishna is looking at us. And that's why you realize that many times Krishna is very happy by small gestures rather than all artis. You'll find that people do mudras and then somewhere offering lamps and all things perfect style. But as he rightly pointed out, there's no consciousness in heart. We are not actually thinking about Krishna, but how do I appear? How am I good and good? Like basically, what's the point program or what's the point in learning a language? Is to just to learn the grammar or to utilize it. It is said that if you want to speak real good native Finnish, you should learn that language, Finnish language, for at least 10 years as a foreigner. Then you start understanding. But if at the end of the 10 years, we are just perfect in all what are the six types of verbs, and we are just trying to perfect that language. And when a Finnish person asks, okay, uh, I'm having my family is having accident. Can you show me the route to nearest hospital? And if you can't do that, then it's a waste of our knowledge. So, same is the case with devotional life. If we are not seeing Krishna and we are not serving Krishna, and we are not, as he rightly pointed out, not seeing Krishna in others, then it's a waste of knowledge. And basically, the perfection of life in when we have perfected our lives in devotional life. So at this point, I stop. I think I've taken quite a lot of time, and thank you very much for having your patience and bearing me out. Is there any question or any comment anyone would like to ask or say? Anything? Yes, Madani?
This is an off-topic question, but I would like to know more about the Swarupa that we have in Vaikuntha. I heard that we all have a Swarupa. Yes, there where Krishna are there in Vaikuntha. But we left because we are in the India, but we still have Swarupa. Is this some speculation or something?
You are talking about, please correct me if I'm mistaken. What you're asking me that we have a Swarup in Vaikuntha and we are a reflection of that in this world. Am I?
Yes.
Is that what your question is?
No, that's your name.
Is it real or is it
Yeah, it's
mental
real.
concoction?
Yeah,
Is that?
yeah, yes.
No, well, that is true, but then there might be somebody else who would like to say that if we are having that our original form in Vaishnav, this vacuum form, and then why are we here? We are a reflection of that. So
No,
basically,
no, I'm not asking why, but we have.
but at the same time, you're wondering that what are we doing out here? And that's exactly the point.
No,
That,
I'm not wondering why we are here. We are here because we for enemies of Krishna.
yeah, you're right. Because we have forgotten Krishna, that's why we are here. So what is the point you're
imagination uh, there that of Godhead that we have an original Swarupa.
That's exactly the point. We have original Swarupa, but at the same time, we choose to be here. That's why we are here. We are enjoying our material senses. This is not Krishna's wish. Krishna wishes that we are back with him, back to Godhead, and that's what our mission is all about. And when we are finally, as he rightly pointed about his friend, once his friend gets attracted by higher things, he gets used to higher taste, then all this material contemplation will slowly go away. And that's the perfection of life. So it may happen within this lifetime, or it may take few lifetimes. But if you are consciously focusing on that, then of course we'll be following what Krishna wants us to do, and we'll be following Krishna's wishes. There are many people who realize that Krishna wants many of his devotees or associates to go with him. So whenever he comes for pastimes, like you realize that there are two characters which were in Treta Yuga with Lord Ram, and they came in Dwapar Yuga in Krishna's pastimes also. Would anybody like to name them? Lord Hanuman and Jaman. They had Lord Ram and they had Lord Krishna also. So many times you realize, even in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, you realize that many of personalities were coming from different yugas also. So it is Krishna's wish. Basically, at the end of the day, we our professional lifetime is what Krishna wants. So they are coming. If Krishna wants us to be in particular form, even you are perfecting your life in this, Krishna wants us. Krishna will do what he wants. But ideally, Krishna wants us to be associated with him in whatever pastimes he is doing.
But if we are, if some person, if we are going back on the Godhead, are we taking a birth there?
So then we are there. We came from there. There is like that's we are not taking birth. We are not dying there, but we are always there. We are souls. We are not this body. This body will be here, and soul will go back to Krishna.
Yeah.
And Krishna decides what to do with our souls. I think you are giving the hint that I should be winding up.
Yes, sure.